Hey everybody, how you doing? This is your man, Jason Myles, Real Estate 360. Today, I want to have a conversation with you about NOI and cap rate and price on multifamily. It could be 4 units, 5 units, 20 units, 80 units, 200 units, doesn't really matter. When you're looking at a property, how can you determine kind of quickly, you know, based on just having some of the information, what the price should be for that particular property? So stick with me, let's get to it. Now, when we're discussing what this looks like, and it can happen in a million different ways. I mean, there's a lot of numbers that go into it, but we want to see if the deal is even viable, whether it's big or small. We want to kind of look at what makes a deal, right? So I want to kind of share with you a quick process that I use and my team uses when we're looking at deals that come across our desk to see if it's worth us even kind of looking at, okay? So let's get into it. Now, when I'm looking at these deals, there's really a lot that can go into it, but doesn't have to be that much, right? We're going to do a very simple, basic look over. When you're out there in the field and you're evaluating things, you can do it in a matter of minutes, right? So we've got our NOI. You'll have to excuse my chicken scratch, okay? We're also going to be looking for cap rate. And we're going to determine how to come up with a price based on what they may or may not be asking for. So NOI is net operating income. Your net operating income is going to be every dollar that comes in minus the expenses, but not all the expenses, right? It's kind of like EBITDA, if you're familiar with EBITDA, right? Like, all right, so EBITDA is this, okay? EBITDA and net operating income are very similar things. If you're in business, you kind of know what I'm talking about, right? So EBITDA is going to be earnings before, that's what the EB is. Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and appreciation, okay? So that's what EBITDA is. Net operating income, again, is all of the money that comes in minus your operating expenses, okay? So again, excuse the chicken scratch, right? So that's what your net operating income is. So in this particular case, we're going to look at a deal that I was working with someone who presented this deal to me, right? So the net operating income on this property, well, I've got the numbers written down here. So the property brings in a little over $3,000 a month. The gross income is $37,320. And the operating expenses on an annual basis, the operating expenses are $12,840. So that's what those are. So you subtract those two, you subtract the operating expense from the gross income, and that gives you your net operating expense, right? So once you subtract here, I'm going to do the math right here. I want you to take notes because I'm going to erase some of this stuff. So we'll take our gross of $37,320 and we'll subtract the annual operating expenses at $12,840. That gives us $24,480. Okay, so our net operating income is $24,480. Fair enough? Okay, so now we know what that is. So we're going to go here, we're going to make a couple changes, clean this up a little bit. We know what our gross was. Boom. And we're going to bring this number over here. $24,480. Again, that is our net operating income. right? So once we understand that, and again, net operating income and EBITDA are very, very similar things. EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and appreciation. And net operating income is your gross, what you bring in on an annual basis, minus the expenses. But that, again, the expenses do not include taxes. They do not include your mortgage payment or interest payments, none of that stuff at all. It's like your management company, how much it costs you to get the grass cut, any repairs, just all of the other expenses. The only thing that you're excluding is depreciation, appreciation, taxes, and interest, or any mortgage payment, but everything else, right? So now we're going to kind of determine what the cap rate is and what the price is. In this particular case, there's an asking price of $250,000. There's an asking price, but every area has its own kind of cap rate, right? You're not going to buy a property that's in a bad neighborhood at a 4 or 5 cap. That's just not what you want to do. Those are going to be the lower the cap rate, your 3s, 4s, 5s, those are going to be in pretty good neighborhoods. Your higher cap rates, 11, 12, 13, 15, and some 16 in some cases are going to be in some of the harder to deal with areas, tougher areas, not so good, lower income, higher higher turnover, that kind of thing, right? But it doesn't mean you can't get a sweet deal in a good neighborhood where you wind up internally with some of those cap rates. But I'm going to keep it simple in this conversation. So we're understanding that, my understanding is that this property is in an area, a decent area, where the property should be selling maybe at a 6 or 7 cap, right? So this property should be selling, let's just say it should be selling at a 7% cap rate. That's what we know it should be selling at. But how do you determine, based on the numbers that we have? We have the net operating income, we know what the asking price is, and we know what the cap rate for that area should be. So the equation is this. When you're coming up with your cap rate, it's your NOI divided by your price. Okay? So in this case, let's see what the cap rate that they come up with is. This is what 7% is what it should be, right? 7% is what it should be. Oops. That's what it should be. But let's see what it is. So we know that our price is $250,000. And we know that our NOI is $24,480. So let's see what that comes to. That puts us at a cap rate of 9.79. Let's just call it 9.8. 9.8%. Now this neighborhood is selling at a 7 cap, and you can buy it at a 9.8 cap. That could be a good thing because you can make money, right? But you really want to start to look at other things. Why is it coming? Why are we buying it at such a discount? It's almost a 3-point cap rate, discount, if you will. I mean, we're going to make more money potentially. So why is that? Well, it could be that the property is depressed. Maybe it needs some work. It could be all kind of different things. But let's come up with the price. Let's see, based on the information that we have here, let's see if the price is right for what we want to do. And how do we do that? So the equation here is this. It's price right here. You're going to put your NOI. Do that a little cleaner for you. Which in this case is 24,480. And you're going to put your cap rate right here, which we know in this case is 9.8, right? So we're trying to get this number right here. We want to know what that number is. So we're going to divide those two. We're going to divide 24 480 divided by 0.098 equals, that is $249,816.33. Let me get that chicken scratch done. $249,816.33. That's the price that we should be going for, right? Based on the cap rate that they're asking. Doesn't mean we can't negotiate a lower price. We can do all kinds of different things, but this is how you do it. This is how you come up with your process. And I'm just going to keep this brief. I wanted to share this for you. If you have any other questions about how you do this or just the way I did it, maybe you didn't understand it, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to know. I know it's my chicken scratch, but comment, share. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you think about these things. So that's how you come up with your NOI. That's how you figure out what the cap rate is. That's how you figure out what the price should be for a property based on the numbers that you have. So this is Jason Myles for Real Estate 360. And if you like this, check out some of the other videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. Engage with me and let me know what you think. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.